I'm going to kick it off with a video that I found, and it may bring some memories back to some people. And you may want to turn your volume up.
This is just the beginning. It's our moment, Manatech moment. Momentum. Caring's our nature, destined to nurture. Nurture. Strive for greatness, change the world now. Now. One life at a time. With the Manatech movement. It's our moment, Manatech moment. Momentum. Heart of a servant, mission 5 million. End hunger and want. Change the world now. World now. One life at a time. With the Manatech movement, we empower, giving our best, happier, healthier, giving our best. Innovation, in motion, with the future, with the vision, on a mission. We're a family, living well so naturally. We lift others up, make people better. We build up the future leaders with the industry pace setter. We dream big, now hear us. Nothing will stop us, we fearless. Growing stronger from a power within. Reach for the top, go for the win. We achieve, we decide and do. Your success is here for you. It's our moment, Manatech moment. This is just the beginning. It's our moment, Manatech moment. Momentum. Caring's our.
All right.
Yay. Thanks, Lydia. That was great.
That's
Great way
a
to kick
good
it
way
off.
to get started. We need to pass that video around. That is a great social media share.
Okay. I think it's a great thing for all of us, Al, to get up in the morning and blast it in our house.
Absolutely.
Amen. That'll get you started and get your momentum going. Well, you guys are really excited for everybody to be here. We only have 90 minutes and we're going to honor that because we want this to be short and concise, but we have phenomenal speakers, phenomenal information to share with you. So let's just really be focused and grab all the nuggets that you can to help you grow your business. So we're going to kick off first where Al Bala is going to kick us
Wait,
off.
no. I have something exciting to share.
Well, Al's
Number
pretty
one,
excited, Lydia.
if you have a camera, I'm going to request that you turn it on because it's much easier for people to talk to a picture as opposed to just a name. And so, but while you guys are getting your cameras turned on, and if you're eating breakfast, it's okay. No worries on our side. But I created a poll with some ChatGPT help and some Mary Jo help that I would like you guys to take like 2 minutes to fill out the poll. I won't know who is submitting the answers, but this whole training is on prospecting. So let's see why are we not out there prospecting? So here comes the poll. And it's only 2 questions. Or 3 questions.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Very professional, Lydia. And you can answer more than one, right? It's not just like,
yeah,
okay,
multiple choice. We'll give it about 1 more minute yet. Mary Jo, if you want to introduce our next speaker, because I can leave the poll up as you're doing the introduction.
We're sure everybody's getting how to do the poll. Some of you technical.
Does anybody have any questions? If you do put it in the chat.
Hi, Lydia.
I do know we have 29.
Oh. Sorry, Lydia. I can't. No, I can't submit it to you. I've completed it, but it won't submit.
Scroll all the way to the bottom.
Yeah, I can see the submit button, but it doesn't work.
Did you click a button on at least 1 and 2? Click one of the things. You can't leave one of the questions unanswered. That's what I found.
Right.
Yep.
You have to answer. No
And-
And I know
default
that we have
on this
55% of you guys have filled out, so we still have 12 more people.
Lydia, I love this.
And
This feature.
yeah, thank you for taking your time to do this, because it's going to help us as we plan future trainings. And were you ever able to submit now?
No.
Maybe we just don't like polls from UK doesn't like our US polls.
There's-
We're probably so bad you don't even want us on the call.
No. We want you
No,
all
no.
on the call. Amen. Great information to share. Okay, we good?
Well, good. So Mary Jo, why don't you go ahead and
So
do the
our first trainer this morning is going to be none other than our favorite CEO that we had at Manatech. I'm just saying that because it happens to be mine, but we'd love to be in the field today. Who's helping all of us in 101 different ways. Mr. Al Bala.
Well, my agenda said you were going to go first. Well, okay. Well, welcome everybody. I hope you all had a wonderful Valentine's night. I was reminded by my wife, why are you having meetings on Valentine's weekend? Doesn't everybody want to be celebrating Valentine's? Yes, we do. So we're going to start right after this meeting. We're going on a Valentine's retreat right after this. But anyways, so today, so let me go back a little bit. A few days ago, Lydia called me. And she had a very valid concern. And because we are pretty much, as I look through all the names, everybody here, we have been vaccinated. We are old enough. We are mature enough. And I think we can have these really, solid, mature conversations about what really we're trying to do and how we want to get there. I believe that everybody who's here, I mean, if you showed up on a Saturday morning at 10 o'clock a.m., whether you're in Holland or you are any place else in the world, or in the UK, you are serious. You want to do something with this, and that's what we are assuming as well. And we want to take an approach that is going to maximize where we go in the next, especially the next 90 days. And I'm gonna say the next 90 days because you guys are aware, company has got a lot of projects coming on, a lot of really exciting projects, I believe. I think things are gonna be they're gonna change the trajectory of our business, I think, in many ways. So there's two approaches, right? So we know there's a lot of things coming, and I believe a lot of exciting things coming. So we could say, hey, you know what? Let us just wait until everything gets here, right? I mean, that's a normal approach to go, hey, you know what? Let's not confuse people. Let's just wait until everything is perfect. Every red light turns green for the next 20 miles, and then we're gonna get going. Right? That's one approach, and it's a valid approach. There's nothing wrong with that. But we're going to recommend something different today. And we're going to recommend that, hey, sometimes if you know good things are coming, what you need to do is you need to start getting yourself in motion. We talked about building our recruiting, muscles again, because we're about to enter a really, I believe, a significant new phase in Manatech's history and life. And I don't, these are not hyperboles. This is not just let's get motivated on a Saturday morning. I know, Kevin, you've been a part of a lot of these. Would you agree with me? There are things coming that could be game changers for our business.
Of course, yes, in many ways, on the product side, business side, just
Right.
how we the simplicity of enrolling new people, all of it.
All of it, right? So we got a new front end coming. It's going to be here, March 3rd. We have a new back office. We have a new system that is kicking in. Even though at first it's going to be more of a sharing site, but it is going to become a fully functional system as well. And we got some really good smart people working on it, and the company is putting a lot of energy, a lot of money, a lot of thought into making this really truly that simple duplicatable recruiting system we've all talked about. Okay, so I know that because I'm in the middle of it. I'm working, and you may not know this, but you are also working in the middle of this, because a lot of what I'm getting as inputs through you guys is filtering into what we're going to do as a system. We've had a few meetings. We've had some tough conversations or honest conversations with the people that are working on this. Some changes have been made. I feel like we're moving forward into a really good direction finally. Okay. Now, in the meantime, what you guys have been doing, what we've been doing is we started this process a few months back, right? The Tuesday night meeting, the Saturday, Super Saturday training. We got we're starting to get our ducks in a row and starting to create something that feels like a flywheel. Now, when I say flywheel, I want to be very straightforward here. Flywheel, all that means is it's a process, right? And it's a process that hadn't changed in 45 years, right? You make a list, you invite, you contact and invite, you show them something, then you follow up, and then you get them started, you get them onboarded, and then they start doing the same thing, right? We used to call it the Wheel of Fortune, and we've taught this for 45 years. We're getting a little bit more sophisticated now because we're adding some other elements, such as social media and other things. But the basics of building a network marketing business have not changed. Now, as we did this over the last few months, we realized, okay, so there's a group of people who will show up at everything that we do. And that's you all, right? And I want to look, I can't tell you how grateful I am that you do. Okay. We as a company, we as a team, we're grateful that we are showing up, because half of the game is showing up. I would get worried if you stop showing up, but you're showing up. That's amazing. That's great. And we're thankful for that. We're grateful for that. You should be proud of yourself for staying in the game. But we wanted to take it to the next level. So as we looked, we said, you know what? The same people are showing up. Obviously, we're not seeing a lot of new faces in these meetings, right? And we started thinking, okay, so Mary and I and Lydia and Kevin and Luciano, Ron Roy, Amanda Luttrell, Val Card, we started, okay, so how do we get this engine to really start doing what we wanted to do, which is really bring in some new faces, new people into this mix. So that's why this poll this morning is very helpful, hopefully insightful, give us an idea, go into your heads a little bit and understand what's holding us back. All right? Because if we're here, I really, really believe our intention is we want to move forward. Something is stopping us, something is blocking us. What is that? And how do we overcome that? Now, in a week, I'll have a book out called The Motivation Equation. You all be getting a copy. I got 100 copies coming for friends and family. You all be getting a copy of that. Do you also in Europe will get a copy? Because I'm heading out to Europe here in March sometime. So I'll be seeing you. I'll be stopping in Holland. I'll be stopping in the UK. I'll be stopping in Spain. I'll be a little everywhere, because I want to really bring this message as well to Europe, because I believe Europe is in that precipice of being able to do something great once we got through some of the other issues. But in that motivation equation, it goes into two things, right? Motivation equation, the motive to take action, why we take action, the art and science of taking action, why are we. So when we're not taking action, there's two elements that are in play. Either one is our needs or our belief or our dreams, what we want to achieve in a positive way, or what we want to avoid in a negative way. Either one of those could be strong motivators. And then the other side is the belief side. Do I believe that when I do these things, then I will achieve the things I want to achieve? Because if you really do, then you're more likely to take action. The stronger your dream, the stronger the need, the stronger the belief, then the greater the motivation. So if we're lacking motivation, there's a belief system thing that's kind of where we're going against, right? And it could be the industry, it could be the company, it could be the team we're part of, it could be just belief in ourselves. So we need to, we want to go deeper into this and understand, okay, and that's the work we're going to do today. The other side of it is maybe skills. Maybe we're lacking skills. Now, when I look at this group here, I think it'd be fair to say we have heard a lot about skills. We've heard a lot from Eric Worre to the teachings and the trainings that we've had. I'm not sure it's always a lack of skills. So I'm going to go with lack of belief. Now, one of them may be the belief that there are still people out there interested in our opportunity. Now, you've heard the numbers from Mary Jo. We're showing the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, we've shown you consistently 30, 40%, and Mary Jo, you know those numbers better, but 30 to 40% of Americans are going to be joining something. The rise of the gig economy is not an accident. It's a reaction. It's a violent reaction to a reality we've seen happening over the last 25 years, the decimation of the middle class. More people today wake up feeling poor, just feeling not poor, but feeling poor, feeling, like they don't have enough to really exercise the kinds of choices they want to exercise. That is a fact. Now, whether they will choose to do what we do or not has a lot to do with how we approach them about what it is that we do. And I know this because, as I was telling Mary Jo and Lydia, and I'm going to share this in behalf of Johanna, who's woke up with a really massive migraine this morning. But we have seen a lot of people in the last few weeks just kind of gravitate towards what we're doing here at Manatech. And we realize it's because we're not really talking to them about Manatech. That kind of sounds a little, off, but we are attracting a lot of people on the idea that they do want to be in business for themselves. They do want to grow personally. They want to be part of a community. We're providing a lot of extra knowledge, extra skills, extra teaching, extra perspective that are not just specifically, let me show you how you start a Manatech business, right? Or let me show you Manatech. We're taking a more holistic view of it, and we're bringing them in. And when they get in and they come and visit us and see us and see what's going on, also it's like, oh my God, I never knew this existed. I never knew this existed. I mean, yesterday I talked to this gentleman who's been approached by a gazillion companies. All of them, every time he gets in front of them, all they want to know is, let me show you how you're going to build a downline and how you're going to do this, how we're going to use your name and your status as a nutrition expert to build these big downline. And he goes, every time I had those conversations, it didn't grab me. We were the first ones that really said, hey, Danielle, you have a brand, you have an expertise. The world needs to hear who you are and what you do. And we are going to provide you a platform to do that. And that platform is Manatech. But we really, and we're going to go back to Mary Jo, the active listening, when we heard what he really wanted, he didn't want to just go out there and just build the downline. It was not the money and the thing. What he wanted is he wanted to build his brand. He wanted to feel like he could contribute, he could educate. He said, you guys were the first one who said, hey, let's go educate people by this amazing thing called glycans, glycobiology, glycoscience, glyconutrition. And that is what he gravitates to. So we need to, today we're going to learn a lot about listening. You know, a couple of days ago, I called my good friend Tom Chenault, who's in another company, very successful. He's a Ray Robin of another company. I said, Tom, what do you do? How do you talk to people? I'm about to have a meeting with people to talk about the whole concept of recruiting. You know, he goes, okay, for 25 years, I perfected this thing I call the coffee shop conversation. He said, I go there to listen to them and see if I really have something that could help them. I never go there to recruit them into my company. I go there to see, can I be of value to them? So a lot of what we're going to do today, what Mary Jo is going to get on is the mindset of this active listening. Are we more interested in them than we trying to be interesting to them? You know, and that, you know, that could be the thing that changes the flow of the conversation. We've had about 7 or 8 new people just join just in the last 2 weeks. And none of them really wanted to do Manatech. Actually, I was told, if you take these people through the tour, don't try to recruit them to Manatech because they're not interested in being recruited to Manatech. They're interested in this personal development and other things that we're doing on the side. But guess what? By the time the tour is over, guess what they wanted to do? They wanted to be a part of Manatech. Because even those who don't think they want to be a part of Manatech, because they don't really know what Manatech is. But if I went straight on to try to tell them about Manatech, I would have probably gotten a lot of resistance. But because I didn't go that way, I just kind of share with them the bigger picture of what we're trying to do to really make a difference in the world, make a difference with children, and so on. By the time this thing was over, 2.5 hours later, believe it or not, they were still there after 2.5 hours, they signed up. They joined the movement that we're creating to make this world a better place. You know, some of these things were not really part of what I was planning to teach, but I think it's part of getting us started down this road. So Mary Jo is going to take us through mindset, and then we're going to do a panel. We got some really interesting questions we're going to be answering, and we're going to role play together. And at the end, I'm going to throw a challenge at you. This is our commitment for the next 5 weeks. We're committing every Saturday for at least half hour. We're going to come together so we can talk about how did we do last week. And then, but I won't go any further because I'll wait until the end. So we'll throw the challenge at you. We're going to make it fun. We're going to make it a challenge. We're going to make it something that gets us ready for what's coming. Manifest is literally what, 6 weeks away, 5 weeks away. Next 5 weeks. We could do something that prepares us to maximize what the company is about to throw at us that could make all the difference. Guys, we can either throw gasoline on fire or we can throw gasoline on ice. And that's going to be our choice. Okay? That's going to be our choice. Because when this thing comes, don't tell us we didn't warn you. It's going to be kind of revolutionary in many ways. And what you don't want this is to fall on inaction, and then you're trying to get yourself now into action, where if you are already in momentum, that's why I love Lydia, you're such a genius. Momentum. If we can build momentum in the next 5 weeks, and then we can catch what's coming at Manifest, guess what? It's going to be a heck of a 2025.
Yeah.
I know that's what you want. And that's what we really want for you. And we're going to commit the next 5 weeks to staying with you step by step until we get there. So I hope that makes sense. Mary Jo, I'm going to turn it back to you. Get us started with mindset, and then we can go from and do the rest.
Great, great. Thanks, Al. Great, awesome. I hope everybody's excited. I'm excited because I love, and of course I have some of the inklings of what's news coming. So I can tell you it's going to be really darn exciting. But I wanted to kick off. I know Al kept saying mindset because I'm a mindset coach, but I'm really going to talk to you today real briefly about listening skills, because there's a real problem out there with so many people in communication skills. Hearing versus listening. They're two distinct concepts. We hear a lot, but we rarely listen, because listening takes up its own space. There's a law of physics. No two things can occupy the same space at the same time. This supports the fact that we can't multitask while listening. Here's a statistic from a professional in this category, Dr. Carol McCall. 99% of all people do not listen. So our goal is to be that 1%. Does everybody get this? That's your goal. I want to be part of the 1%. Listening demands that we are present. The average person hears for 25% of the time and fills the rest of the time just with nonsense. They just fill. We're filling. So listening requires 24/7 practice. And Gestalt, if you've heard of that term, is what occurs when we are truly listening, when someone feels they have really been heard. How many of you are out there going and presenting Mannatech to people and all you're doing is get nervous about what you're going to say next, instead of truly asking questions and listening to the person you're talking to? You want to stay focused on them, stay present with what they say, and be empathetic with what you hear, instead of just being on task. I have to get through this. I have to tell them all about Mannatech, Ambertoast. You're so nervous or focused on all of that, you never hear from the person you're talking to. And that's gigantic, because it's not until that person feels heard that they're going to want to have anything to do with you. Because if you don't listen to them, you're just like so many other people in their lives, right? So here's 9 tools real quickly, because I know we're running out of time. And thank you, Al, for the great presentation. 9 tools to improve our communication skills. Number 1, be brief. If you ask a question and they do not respond properly, now wait a minute and re-ask the question. Get the answers that you're looking for. Make the answers that they give you important, because now you're layering a level of importance on them. You don't just bypass it and go to the next question, right? Okay, be brief. We tend to go into overwhelm, all in our head, since our body can't function. Paralysis in our head. So be brief. Number 2, acknowledgement. This isn't the same as compliment. People have programs called, are you ready? Not good enough, right? This is how they listen. This is a real challenge for those who have them. It prevents them from listening, right? And you can't go through that 3-step process: acknowledgement, acceptance, appreciation. Write those down: acknowledgement, acceptance, appreciation. They get stuck in their prior actions, and then all of a sudden it gets into a loop. Like if I say, Mary Jo, I thank you for having a share a very meaningful way for you to impact others and create financial security for yourself and your family. So are you getting that? When I talk to people, I thank them for giving me the opportunity to share a very meaningful way for you to impact others and create financial security for yourself and your family. We can all say that, but are we really saying that? We want to make sure we complete that communication loop with people. Okay? Otherwise we leave it open. So any time you've given a presentation, I thank you for giving me this opportunity. Always go through that process, sharing a very meaningful way for you to impact others and create financial security for yourself and your family. Acknowledgement. We go out there, we share with people, are you ready to get started? If they say no or hem and haw, we move on. Wrong. Acknowledgement. That will serve you signing more people up, a higher percentage of people, than almost anything else you do. People need acknowledgement. Empowered listening is number 3. When you choose to listen to a person to a certain way, you can't choose differently. So what does that mean? It means if you have judgment walking in and you go, man, this guy's a jerk, guess how you're going to listen to him? you're going to listen to him going, he's a jerk. Yeah. So get rid of your judgment, right? Every single time I meet somebody, I don't care who they are. A lot of you have heard my story about Grover Crenshaw. I used to tell for years and years and years. He looked like he just climbed from under a rock. I was like, oh my gosh, how do I sign this person up? It's crazy. He's never going to, all this judgment came out of me. I said, stop it, Mary Jo. So I ended up pursuing him. He signed up. He became like a national director in the first 3-4 months. Okay. So your assumptions, you know what that word is? An assumption, make an ass out of you and me. Do not assume anything, right? Empowered listening. Being heard. You want a number 4, being heard. Listener needs to be still. You have to be still. So you, as this person speaking, you be still. We like to interrupt people and get involved and shut them down if they're going on a different path. Being heard is critically important for people to feel valued. Number 5 is boldness, being authentic. You have to be present, be bold. You can't be bold in the future and the past. Boldness, authentic, is true to in the moment. It's true in the moment. We think it's gracious and generous, right? To go out there, you have no control over the other person's feelings. So be true in the moment. People are suffering out there and they're looking for opportunities to end their suffering. But you know what? Their suffering is optional. Their choice on suffering is their choice. So with boldness, we speak of what is in the moment. Boldness actually leads us to brevity, not dancing around, right? Make sure that we're being bold. It's hard to be that, to stand in that, but be bold. Number 6, intuition. Over the past couple decades, it's been very popular how everyone talks about it. Before that, it was just basically, if you look at the history of it, they always gave the concept of intuition as women have intuition. Well, I don't believe that. I believe men have intuition too. It's just maybe they're quieter and they haven't expressed it, or they tend to have their own thing going on in their head. So you want to have intuition going into it. It has no logic. It just comes out of the blue. Use it and pay attention, right? Number 7, 99-1. MSU, this is called 99-1 MSU. 99% of the time when people are upset with you, it has nothing to do with you. All of us married can go, you got that right, Mary Jo, right? 99% of the time, it has nothing to do with you, right? Something's going on in their lives. And we do that ourselves. We make stuff up to justify someone else's behavior when we see that kind of behavior. It's kind of a rat race. So the minute somebody seems upset, we make stuff up. And then when you stop making stuff up, you finally get rid of major stress, major chatter, all this stuff. So start asking yourself, am I just making this up? When you draw conclusions about somebody you're working with, am I just getting stuck in MSU? Again, the human race spends 99% of its time in MSUs, make stuff up, right? So if you stay in the present, there's no room for MSUs. So stop making stuff up when you're relating to people. Number 8, completion. Satisfaction in the present moment. Could be, we sign up, could be make friends, could be make comfortable for you, could be people do business with those they know, like, and trust. Do you complete certain segments as you move along in a conversation? Or are you just leaving them out there? Right? So complete your task by completing one step at a time. This is great for closing someone. Don't jump around. Complete one task at a time. And that will allow you to be most proficient in closing people. And number 9, coach action. What does that mean, coach action? It means you begin to have people no longer push your buttons. Write this down, all caps. Stop the drama. Doing this business and being a great listener and really getting involved with people is about taking action you wouldn't normally take. So if you're in a drama relationship getting nowhere, take some special, authentic actions. Here's one for you. If somebody gets all drama, say, go, here's some great language to use. Think with me through this. Or I'm listening to you. You change and they will shift with you. Think with me through this. Notice you're pulling them back in, right? You're stopping the drama. I'm listening to you. Show the respect in it. So that's quick, just some great tips on how to become a great listener. It truly is. It's an art and it's a science, and you don't want to leave that behind, because every single person you meet, if you're a better listener, I want to tell you, you've just doubled, quadrupled your opportunity to close them into Manatech. Okay, Lyd, turn it back to you. Who's next?
It is the panel. So now we're going to put some people on the hot seat. Mary Jo or Al, you want to run the panel?
No, I thought Mary Jo, since you got, you did all the listing, but
Yeah, she has some questions. Mary Jo, you want to start questions?
Do I have them?
Yes, you do.
if you don't, I do. So
Foundational questions. Okay, let's go. Who's on our panel?
all right, so
We have
let's
Kevin.
introduce the illustrious members of this panel. Kevin, Luciano, Mary Jo, myself. And by the way, while I'm thinking about this, since this is going to be interactive, Mary Jo, I'm thinking we will, if you think you have an answer to this, or you have a question about what we're going to say, or you have something that, a situation you've had that you want to actually bring up, we're going to make it very interactive today. How's that? But, mainly, we got, a few key people that we want to jump in, and we can ask the question to directly. But everybody else here should feel like they can jump on and also contribute to this process, because these are not just our questions. This is probably questions that relate to you and the questions you have yourself about some of these things. So,
Right. And I kind of picked out about 8 of the questions, because there's so many. Al, I don't, if we could be on for the next 5 hours. Does everybody get this?
well, we'll end at 11:30 with whether we've dealt with one question or 5 or 10. So it will still end at the same time, but let's try to go through this. Some of these questions are very insightful, and I think they'd be helpful to pull out some good nuggets from everybody that's here.
Those foundational questions, especially, right? As understanding the mindset behind recruiting. So let's kick off with that. Okay, panel, or anyone who wants to contribute. What are the biggest mental blocks that stop people from inviting prospects to look at the business opportunity? And then how to overcome. Go ahead, Kevin.
I think fear is probably the number one thing that stops people from prospecting in general, whether it's business or product. Fear of not knowing, feeling like you don't know the right answers, feeling like that person's not interested, feeling, all these things that we project. I think fear is the number one thing that stops people from prospecting. And I know for me personally, that's one of the things that I, had to get over. I kind of tell jokingly that in the beginning I was, very fearful to talk to people, fearful they were going to ask me about network marketing, all kinds of stuff like that. And at some point you just, you get over it, and you're just, you're calm. And the best way is to detach yourself from the result. In other words, what creates fear is you're worried that that person's going to tell you no, and it's going to be rejection. And ultimately it doesn't matter. Right. And again, my dad is one of the best people to follow in this regard. He talks to everybody, and I've tried to mirror him just like in a 10% way, but he talks to everybody, and it doesn't matter whether they say yes or no. That's not going to mess up his day. He'll go on to the next person and talk to them. And some, doesn't always talk about Manatech, but when you detach yourself from the results, we're bringing a gift. And if somebody's interested, great. I'd love to tell you more. If not, that's fine. We'll follow up on, maybe some point in the future. would be a good time. So anyway, so fear, and I think detaching yourself from the result is probably one of the best ways to get over that.
All right, Luciano,
Same question.
same question.
I agree with Kevin 1,000%. You know, that was my biggest issues when I was first getting started. And Al, you know this perfectly because you were in my house every week. You know, but I think that I think most people are like that. I mean, I'm not speaking for you guys, but I'm saying I think the majority of the people rather not speak to somebody than speak to somebody. But what you find out real quickly is that, you know, people are really open to speaking to you as long as you speak to them first. They are willing to listen to you, but they are not going to come and talk to you first. But if you stick out your hands, one of my mentors used to say, look, if you want to be poor, keep your hands in your pocket. If you want to be rich, stick your hands out, you know? And look, the more you stick your hands out, the easier it becomes because, like Kevin said, just, you know, understand the statistics. You know, I used to work with in a supermarket for many years while I was in high school and sometimes through college. And you know, a lot of people came in that store, and guess what? Not everybody who walked in there bought something. They came in, they looked. If they found what they were looking for, they bought it. If they didn't, they left. When you're talking to people, just understand something. They might not be looking at a specific time of, you know, what you have or what you're offering. But like what Mary Jo said, and Mary Jo, that was awesome. What Mary Jo said, look, don't just shut him off and say, well, you know, next, you know. Just let him know that, hey, listen, it's great meeting you, even though we're not, you know, you might not be ready for what we talked about right now. You know what? Is it okay if we keep in contact? You know, I mean, I see you now as another friend who I just met. If you disassociate, like Kevin said, from the results, then you don't have to worry. Nothing works. I can tell you, when I was first getting started, every time, you know, and it's all your head, guys. I mean, look, 95% of your business is your head. It's not knowing about glycans and glyconutrients. It's all your head. It's your mindset. I remember I used to walk outdoor. Now I'm going prospecting, okay? And I would come across somebody who was really nice and open. And in my head, I'm thinking, they must be thinking I'm trying to prospect them. They must be thinking that I'm in a multi-level company. All these crazy things just come up to your head because it's your mindset that's, you know, trying to mess you up. So that's my take on that.
Great.
All right. Well, thank you, Luciano. Mary Jo?
Oh, great. Well, I think it's I keep thinking of my buddy Grover Crenshaw. You know, I mean, we have so much judgment about people, and I think that's sad. That, you know, when we look at people, we go, well, they're never going to make it, and that, oh, these guys, they probably have two friends, or they. I think we need to really release our judgment because we don't know. We make these assumptions and we just don't know. We have this vision of what the perfect network marketer looks like. And you really don't know. Look at all of us on the screen right now. We're all so uniquely different, tremendous different backgrounds, different personality quadrants, different. If I asked everybody, okay, list how many friends do you have? We would have people that come from maybe say 25 to people who say 250,000. Does this make sense? So there's not a concept that there's the perfect network marketer. And I think we need to let go of all of that and just have a heart and passion. We have a tool here that truly can change people's lives. And if we constantly look at it and value it from that perspective as prospectors, there's no one we shouldn't be talking to, right? It doesn't matter what they look like, feel like, taste like, whether they're from different nationalities, different, whatever. We have something that is so incredibly powerful to impact people's lives. Whether they choose to just take the products or they join you in the business, that's their decision they make. But for us not to share it because of the judgment we have, so get rid of those mental blocks, get rid of the stuff that's holding you back, that's making you judgmental, and start just releasing it. And you might meet some of the most fascinating people you've ever met in your entire life, and they'll become your business partners.
And best friends.
Yeah.
Hey, Al, I'm going to ask another question. And this is from directly from our poll that had a high response. How can I entice others to get into the business when I am not so hot at it myself?
Okay,
Uh,
well, that's a great question.
Would you repeat that, Lydia? I'm sorry, I didn't hear the end, what you said. When I'm not.
Okay, how can I entice others to get into the business when I am not so hot at it myself?
Okay, so let me take that for a second, because I was it kind of goes with what I wanted to say a little bit about this concept of why we don't. Maybe it's really why we should. Um, yesterday I was in a meeting with some folks last night, and I got a chance to go back through my story, and I realized, the person that invited me to see this business never did anything with the business. He literally 40 years later retired from the post office. But what did he do for me? I mean, him picking up the phone and getting me out on a Tuesday night to a meeting totally changed my life. And for me, that is what I always have to remember, that this can be better for them than it is for yourself. Now, I can tell you, John Silver will always be proud of the fact that he was the person who introduced me to the business. He enjoys to know that he had that impact in my life. And I give him credit every time that I can, because had not been for that phone call, I cannot even imagine what my life would be or what my life wouldn't be. So if you start from that premise that this could be better for them than it is for you, then you don't worry so much about how hot you are at this. Well, you're hot enough to be one step ahead of most of them, because you know something they don't know. And this could totally change their lives. So are you thinking about you when you say this? Are you thinking about them? And if you make it all about them, just think about even the fear factor, right? We're afraid because of what we think this represents as a judgment on ourselves. And if we're going to really come at it from heart and passion, then it's about them. And if they say yes, great. If they say no, great. We did, we divorce ourselves from the outcome, from the results. We used to tell the story of the ladies on a plane, the air hostesses that are going through the aisle and say, "Hey, you want peanuts? You want peanuts? You want peanuts? You want peanuts? You want peanuts?" Or pretzels, whatever they're serving these days. And if you say no, guess what? She doesn't care.
Mm.
She doesn't care. You did not offend her, right? She's just going to go to the next person and the next person and do her thing all the way to the end, and she's done. If we take that approach, then I think so two things. One, dissociate from the outcome, but make it about them.
Mm.
And if it is about them, then why would you worry about anything? Right? You do your part, they'll do their part. And you know what? And at the end, it's all good. So I don't know. Does that answer that question? I don't know who had that question, but people, I always, and I asked Tom Chenault, I said, because he said, I tell them my story. I said, what about when somebody doesn't have a story? I tell them to tell my story. Right? Tell my story. Let me end with one story that I heard just a few weeks ago. The power of what we have our hands on. I talked to a gentleman, he's in his 80s now, but in his 40s, he was a top earner in a couple of big companies. But he related to me how he got introduced to the business. He was in an insurance business that really catastrophically, went bad, and he was so distraught he was going to commit suicide. And he literally was on this bridge about to go commit suicide, and somehow on a pole somewhere in that bridge, he saw an announcement about a meeting, something about losing weight and a meeting, and something inside of him said, okay, before I commit suicide, maybe I should check this out. I mean, that's how he told the story. And he did go to the meeting. He didn't have a penny in his pocket. He didn't have nothing. He was completely broke and in debt, big time in debt. Went to that meeting, heard the message. Couldn't afford to even get started. The guy who, somebody there said, hey, look, I'll help you get signed up. And literally 90 days later, he had 160 people in that business and became the #1 check in that business. Guys, we forget the transformative power of what we have our hands on. And if we believe that, then we want to share this with as many people as we can, because they can be better. They can do better in this than you will, maybe. So anyways, okay.
Hey, Lydia, I want to, Al said one little piece there that I was going to expand, and I'm going to keep this really brief, but one of the biggest things is when especially when you're new, or even if you're not new, you've been in for a while, but you haven't had the level of success yet. So you feel intimidated because, oh my gosh, what if they ask about me? The best thing you can do is borrow other people's stories. Know some other stories. I would always tell the story of, hey, a couple of my downline, they used to be in the retail business, and they heard about this. They fell in love with the products. They gave up the retail business and became some of our top money earners in our company. Tell the story of my sister-in-law. She was in advertising, but she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and she started doing this business and just on a part-time basis, but ultimately it became her entire career, and it's been awesome for her. Tell the story of Mary Jo being a full-time attorney and got involved in this business because of her dad from a health standpoint. And ultimately she fell in love with the business, and she's doing Mannatech full time. So if you know other people's stories, it doesn't matter what your level of success is. You know why you're doing it. You need to know why your why is, but borrow other people's stories, and that works on the product side too. So anyway, that's a huge thing. Don't be afraid to tell other people's stories. And Al, you said that, but I just wanted to highlight that.
Great.
Yeah, no, everybody works at their own pace. That's one of the things I love to emphasize too. I love it. It's just, you get to work at your own pace. Some people are going to they're going to shoot out and like rockets and achieve highest levels overnight. Other people are going to just waddle and just that's just the way they operate. They're just going to do. The beauty of this model is it allows you to waddle if you want to. Not that you need a rhyme there, but the concept is that it's open to anyone, no matter whatever energy and effort you want to put into it. You will fit in this model. No one's going to be here pressuring you to achieve platinum presidential in 3 months. You operate at your own pace. But when this is how I love to work with people. I'll go, you tell me where you want to be in 3 to 6 months, and let's set up a plan to get you there. Does that make sense? So don't look at yourself, look at helping somebody else achieve what their goal is in the business. And you just help them there. We all know the activities required to achieve success. We can teach that to anyone, no matter where we are on that, that chart of what levels we've reached, right? Everybody feel confident in that. So that's what we teach people, and that's how we attract people. So it doesn't have to do with where you happen to be. It has to do with, can I help somebody and teach them what it takes to get to this level, the one that they've chosen, whatever that is for them. And why do we work with people in choosing a level? Because we want them to have a goal. If you don't have a goal, then you don't know where you're going. That's why I always love to sit with people as a new person and say, what is your goal in 3 to 6 months? Where would you like to see yourself? And if they want to be a platinum presidential, I will suggest that's a little impractical unless you don't want to sleep for the next 6 months, right? And it's so you want to make sure it's reasonable, but then you work with them and they could choose a goal that's 5 levels higher than you are. Don't look at yourself and say, well, I can't help them to get there because look at where I am. Of course you can You know, everybody on this call, every one of you knows what it takes.
That brought up a question. Joellen said, what do you do with them now that they have signed up? Many fear that they are not leaders. That is a great question. Let's just go around the panel and others who want to jump in. So what do you do when they say, yes, I'm going to sign up? What do you do next with them? Luciano.
Well, do you guys want to, I went to sleep at 2 o'clock last night because of Valentine. So, do you guys want me to sugarcoat this answer, or you want to hear the real answer? Because I could sugarcoat it for you, or I'm going to give it to you straight. What do you guys want? What do you guys want?
Give it straight.
Okay.
We want the real Luciano.
All right, good. I was going to give it to straight anyway, so it didn't matter what you said. I just
Do that.
look. You sign up somebody new, it's your responsibility now to help them become successful. Simple as that. You told them about Manatech. You told them how great it was. You told them that you're going to help them. Yes. At least when I talk to somebody, I'm telling them, look, I know this, especially if they're new and they have no idea how to build a business, Joellen, since this is a great question. So what I tell them simply is this: look, you trust in me that what I'm saying to you is the truth. So I'm going to take my experience. I'm going to put the effort in. I'm going to drive somewhere with you if I need to. I'm going to do a Zoom with you if I need to. I'm going to do a 3-way call if I need to. I am going to train you and teach you how to build a business. Because I know you're not going to do it by yourself, because I couldn't do it by myself. When I got started in 1987 in this business, somebody said to me, I'm going to prove to you that this is going to work. And I'm going to come to your house once a week for the next 90 days to work with you. And that somebody is steering right there. His name is Al Bala. So when I sponsor a new person, I don't get excited because I just have a brand new person in my organization, because that's nothing. I'm not in the business of just sponsoring people and getting, get a business kit sold. No, I'm in the business of, I want you to get in because I want to help you become successful, And if you're willing to work, I'm willing to work even harder than you are willing to work. Listen to this. I have driven 13 hours one way with a downline to go show the plan for them. And when we got there, nobody was there. From Boston to Richmond, Virginia. Are you willing to do those kind of things to help people in your downline to have those kind of success? And today, we don't have to do that anymore, because we just get on Zoom. And look, Ian is in the UK, and we're all over the place in America, in North America, and we don't have to do those things anymore. But the reason I did those things was because when I got started, and I'm long-winded on this one, but look, it's all about mindset, and I'm going to go back to tell you this: your business will never change unless you change something in your head. That I'm not sugarcoating anything. Right. I'm telling you, if you don't like your results that you're having right now, if you don't change something here, you're going to continue to have the same results over and over and over again. I just read, and I'm on my 37th year, and I'm telling you, I just read. Some people, we talk about reading, but they don't read. I'm not saying you guys don't read. I'm just saying some people. I just finished John Maxwell's book, The High Road Leadership. Awesome book. I just started Mel Robbins' Lit Them. It's a book called Lit Them. That's the title of the book. It's very interesting. But look, I'm telling you, the mind has to change for your business to change. And so the best thing that you can do with the new people is you need to find out what Mary Jo said, go sit with them, get their goals, develop a plan on how to help them get the success that they're looking for. The more you help people get their success, the faster your success will come. That's it.
So let me pick up on some things that Luciano said, and then I'm going to turn it over to Kevin, and then I think Mary Jo, this is one you want to jump on as well. So, and I think both Luciano and Mary Jo said this. We think, so when you say, when I am not a leader, when somebody thinks I am not a leader, what does that really mean? Well, let me tell you, leader could be as simple as, hey, let's sit down together and let's look at what you want, right? Let's put those things on paper. I mean, how much of a leader do you have to do that? But yet you're a leader because you are interested in them. Does that make sense? We are all leaders. The minute you have this interest in helping somebody else, you are a leader. Okay? A leader is not, brimstone and fire, get them, jump, get in front of people and lead. No, leading is really serving. So if you switch leadership, and I'm going to ask Joellen if this makes sense to you since you asked it, but if you switch leader to server, we all know how to serve. And guess what? Once you start serving, you are leading.
Yes.
Joellen, does that make sense?
It makes sense. I wanted a lot of people to hear it because I've heard rumblings from people in the trainings I've done lately that they don't feel they're equipped. And yet when I was brought in, the person that brought me in had only been in the business a few months and they knew nothing, but they were one page ahead of me and they were
Right.
my leader and we learned together. And
Correct.
I think that's the reason I asked the question. I keep bumping into it and I keep thinking, you're here, you're in Manatech, you're a leader. How do you get rid of that stinking thinking?
So the other thing I want to point out is when Luciano was not a leader, when he was literally scared to get in front of people and talk to people and so on, the only thing he did was he allowed somebody else to help him. So I'm going to say that because maybe some of us don't think we have somebody else. You have this team.
Yeah.
I mean, we're here, guys. We could not be more committed to you as as we are right now. I mean, we are. I mean, Lydia, Mary Jo, myself, Luciano, Kevin, Ron Roy, Amanda Luttrell, and Joellen, we're committed. So the next thing you do with a new person is let me have you meet
X.
my, let me have you join my community. Let me have you meet my friends, my partners. We're all partners. We might be cross-line. We're all partners in this thing together. So that would be the other thing I would say. Bring them to the team and then let them get, kind of borrow leadership from the team. There's always going to be somebody in this room that, if we can get on the three-way, right? I mean, Doug is going like this. You're right. Doug, if you have somebody and you say, hey, Al, I got somebody, can you help me? I will. And by the way, Doug can also be the person that helps you because, see, somehow that third-party validation and edification is incredibly helpful to do what we're talking about. Kevin, any thoughts?
Yeah, and actually, you just shared something I was going to say, but that's okay. I mean, it's not like we all have different paths here. We're all doing very similar things, so it's good that we're kind of sharing the same thing. So I was going to say two things. So again, let's divide this. So when you have a new product user, new customer, you don't need all this extra. Now, it's still a good idea maybe to get them on Zoom with somebody, and maybe somebody's other. It's had a good product result and those kind of things. But I think we're talking about a new business person that wants to do this business. So I do two things. Number one, I use the tools that Manatech has put out there. So I tell a new person that we've got some great training, the digital tool suite, great training on products, on Dr. Steve Nugent's got some great stuff there on social media, specific Manatech training. So I tell them, it's all there. I'll show them where it is. None of that's going to grow your business for you, but it's a great place to go get some education about Manatech. But the second thing is, I was going to say exactly what you were just talking about, Al, is I want to get this new person connected to somebody else immediately. So it's not just me and them. So yes, I use my dad a lot. And some of you might be thinking, well, wow, if I could get Ray Robbins on the phone, I could really grow my business too. My dad sits around waiting for you to ask him to do three-way calls. He loves
Yes.
to talk to new people. Doesn't matter that you're not his son. It doesn't matter that you're not a platinum presidential. Anyone that can get in touch with my dad, he would be happy to get on the phone with you or get on. Yeah, mostly phone for him, not Zoom. Anyway, whether it's my dad or Demra or somebody else here, I try to get that new person connected. And then the other thing is you want to get them into action quickly. So again, we talk about this all the time. What's your list? Let's think about people that are health conscious, that are interested in health. Let's think about people that that might be interested in making some extra money, that needs some more money, part-time, whatever. And let's start getting into action and contacting them. And then what are we going to do with those people? We're going to get them on the Zoom with me, or again with somebody else that can tell the story. So anyway. So number one, show them the Mannatech tools. Number two, connect them with another leader. And then number three, get them in action immediately.
And by the way, part of being in action immediately, get them out to the Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Right? Luciano will tell you, when we didn't know what to do, all we could say is, hey, do you like what you heard? Come back next week. Bring somebody. I mean, that as simple as that. Just come back next week. Bring somebody with you. If you like what you heard, come back next week. Guys, this is why we have this Tuesday night community thing. It's not just for someone to get on there and show the plan. And by the way, yeah, we're gonna do a little bit more in terms of getting a few people to just say hi and say who they are and where they're from and what they did before Mannatech and why they like Mannatech. We need to build a little bit more of that to make it more of a community. But guys, this is where this meeting, this Saturday meeting, come meet the team. Come meet the team. Come meet the team. You build the team. When you can't build you specifically, build the team. But when you bring them, the team will build you. And that's something we'll do. You edify the team edifies you, and you're up and your downline, your new prospect go, oh wow. Yeah, Shirley must be really important. Everybody really thinks really highly of Shirley, right? I mean, that's the dynamics that we can build in here that I think can be powerful. Mary Jo?
Yeah, I think great. I just a couple points. First of all, a couple of people mentioned the book Let Them, and as all of you probably know, Mary Jo does a Monday morning call and has for 40 years now. It feels like. I actually did a book review on Let Them. So if you'd like to get access to that, I'm more than willing to let everybody have that outline so you can see in the training that I did on Let Them. It's an excellent book because one thing that holds us back is other people's opinions and viewpoints, right? And it's ridiculous. It's insane. So stop allowing what other people think about you impact you. It doesn't matter. Just like you have the freedom to think whatever you want about other people, so do other people get to think about you. But you just need to separate that out, let them. And it's so critical in our industry because we have brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and kids, and they want to pick on you for doing network marketing. Pick all you want. This is a choice that we make. And one of the most beautiful aspects of network marketing is anyone can do it. I get sick and tired of the people that, well, I can't be a lawyer. I can't be, maybe you can't be some of those things, but you don't need to be any of those things. This is a universal opportunity for anyone and everyone. And that's what I love so much about the network marketing model. Okay, so that's one thing. And then the other thing, when we get so heavily involved in, worrying about other people. And I even tell my own organization this all the time. I go, all you have to do is tell somebody your upline was a lawyer. She was vice president and general counsel of a publicly traded company, and she loves network marketing. And I'll do a 3-way call with anybody. I love talking to people about that. So how does somebody with that education, that background, that success, you go, network marketing, and you go, maybe I should talk to her, right? I mean, it unblocks this concept that people who can't find a job somewhere else choose network marketing. What a bunch of BS. one of the beautiful aspects, and this is what I always tell, I said, what drove Mary Jo so much to do this industry for the last 30 years plus, right? Because I have a heart of contribution. And it's that heart of contribution that will never, ever stop me. So some of you do some internal evaluation of self and say, don't you want to make a difference in people's lives? And I think that's why a lot of you are doing this. So let go, just like let go of, well, I only got to this level, blah, blah, blah. Quit focusing on that and start focusing on, why am I in this? Because I love to help other people. I love to help people with their health. I have this phenomenal opportunity. People can, have a side gig and they don't have to fret about unfunded retirement and all the other things that are going on in our economy today, which is a bloody disaster for lots of different families. And you have the solution. And you're sitting there hiding under a rug. Come on. We have solutions. Get out from under the rug and start sharing it with people. Can they say no to you? Absolutely. Just like you can say no when that guy knocks on your door and wants you to become a devil worshiper. I get to say no to him, right? Amen. So I mean, it's okay. But if you don't share enough, you're not going to get enough yeses. So let's get out there and get those feet moving, get that phone moving, and don't be tied to if they don't like it and they go blah, blah, blah. And you go, I'm sorry you feel that way. This is an incredible opportunity in the gig marketplace today. And I couldn't be happier to be in it. Boom. That's all you have to say. All right. Good.
All right. Great stuff. Does anybody wants to contribute anything else to this? Because I don't want to, I want more.
Kevin has a question, and Kevin,
Hey, Al,
your
I wanted to
question.
ask a specific question to this group that I think will be relevant. Time's ticking away, and I didn't want us to get away from here without getting a little more tactical and sharing some specific tools that we're using, whether that's a video or a app or whatever that's working or that we really like. Since I'm asking the question, I'm gonna let you guys think about it for just a minute. I've got a couple here that I just wanted to share from my perspective. So from a sizzle standpoint, from just a short video, my favorite tool is there's a video called Live Your Dream Life. I think that's an excellent tool. It's about 2 minutes long. It's little snippets, interviews. It's real people. I like videos with real people in them instead of maybe the animated or the voiceover kind of thing. But I like that. Just a quick introduction. There's another video, and again, a lot of you probably know all these, but some of you may not have heard these. It's one of my favorite ones to share. It's really designed for someone that's just joined Manatech, but I use it when somebody just says, what is Manatech, or tell me a little bit more about Manatech. There's a video called Welcome to Manatech. It's 5 minutes long. I love that video. I think it's really effective, and I think it tells the story of Manatech very, very well. Like I said, it's designed as like a welcome to Manatech. You've just made a great decision, but it really works even for somebody up front. And then just last, this one kind of seems self-absorbed, but there's a presentation that I did that's online that's called Manatech Opportunity Presentation. If you search for it, it's got my name in it. It's about 20 minutes long. And again, if you're trying to share the opportunity with somebody like in a video format, I think it comes across pretty well. I'm sure it helps that, I think it's got me in it. But anyway, that's what I use, and I just wanted to kind of share that. So those are my three tools that I like. So let's just kind of go around and maybe, again, where's a video or an app or whatever, let's share some specific tactical things that we're using that people can use.
Yeah, Kevin, get those to Lydia. Lydia, let's just kind of make sure we get this on where it's easy for people to find that.
Yeah, I'm going to create a document with direct links to this stuff, and I'll put it in both the North American Power 90 that you could then download, save.
Perfect.
In your own files.
Awesome.
So they don't even have to go out and find it for themselves.
Yes.
Now you know why I hired Lydia. No kidding.
I have a quick question. Yeah. When we were building our business, we used to do like 3 meetings a day. We would have a morning meeting, and the people that came, we'd say, hey, we're going to do another one this afternoon. If you know anybody else, come back with them. or we're going to do one this evening if you want to come back this evening. It was a lot of work, but we found that we reached more people. We had a lot of young moms in the morning. We had school teachers and people that worked at a bank that got out early in the afternoon meeting. And in the evening, sometimes people would come with 2 or 3 people. I love our op meeting on Tuesday nights, but a lot of my people, I'd like to have something, I know that's asking a lot. I'd like to have a live meeting morning, afternoon, and evening to see if we could bring more people and use that kind of call to action to them. Bring somebody back with you. It worked in Europe. It worked here in the US. We traveled around a lot doing that, and it was powerful. And we got to know a lot of people. And in between, we would have follow-ups with people and, get them signed up and ready to go. Is there any possibility of doing something like that?
I'll take a stab at it, and then I'll let everybody talk about it. So, Joellen, I mean, that's how we launch new countries. I mean, we normally, when we launch a new country, we'll be at a hotel and start at 9 o'clock in the morning and go all the way to 9 o'clock at night, and literally hour on the hour, there's a meeting, and we're telling people to, when they leave, it's like, hey, go get somebody and bring them tonight, bring them this afternoon, bring them tomorrow morning. And we do that for a whole week. It's hard to keep it up for a long time, but there's a moment where you can do this kind of blitzing. So I'm going to just say, look, based on what we do here the next few weeks, what is not going to work is if we are just showing up ourselves. So we got to flex our muscles a little bit, right? We got to start getting some movement going, get some new people in front of this, build a little bit of this, momentum. And then I would say, and other people can chime in. My head is saying, after Manifest, when we launch all these stuff, we decide as a team, we're going to do a blitz for a week. And during this 1 week, we're going to do the meetings 3 times a day. And then we already got some new people already coming. We already got a muscle flex. We're now in this mode, and then we just spin it. Right now, if we spun it, we'd be just spinning ourselves. We need to spin it, but with new people that are coming in. So if you guys are okay with this, let's just go through this next 5 weeks, really building this muscle. And when we feel ready, we go, okay, now time to blitz. Yeah. And we can take this 1 week and just absolutely pound it. That would be my vision on this. Anybody else has any thoughts?
Al, I love it. I love the concept of coming out of Manifest and doing the blitz right there. Right now, I feel very uncomfortable doing it for the main reason is we don't have enough people showing up on Tuesday Night Live. And if people aren't showing up to that meeting, why the heck would we, all the team here that's so supportive and willing to give up all our time and energy, what the heck are we doing it 3 times a day when we can't even get enough people on a Tuesday Night Live? And that's not chastising anybody. It's just saying that's where we happen to be in this moment.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing all these trainings now. That's why we're so committed. You got a great group of presidential directors that are just all over this, trying to support everybody in the field as much as we can. And so I agree. I think Manifest is a great time for us to kick it off and just get ready to do a major blitz. And there's no doubt there are enough committed people here, Joellen, that we can sustain 3 meetings a day.
Exactly.
No question about that. But the problem is we've got to get you guys inviting enough people there to show up. And it gives you a little bit more momentum. How many of you feel like, well, Mary Jo, if we had that, I think I'd work harder at my Mannatech business. Can I just see some hands in the air? If you had that, would that cause you to work harder at your Mannatech business? I don't know. So we've got a couple hands in the air, but that's what I'm saying. It's got to be, I don't know how to motivate you to work harder and share more. If I could find that magic formula, Al and I would we would go and make billions off of just developing that formula, wouldn't we, Al?
Mary Jo,
Yeah.
Mary Jo, I see all the same faces on this call, and yet we have a lot of new leaders that don't show up for any of these calls. I know I remember definitely one gal said, I'm a Lone Ranger. And I remember that because we were Lone Rangers. It really struck home. And it wasn't until we got engaged with the bigger team that we really reached our biggest success. But things have changed, and a lot of people are very much Lone Rangers. how do we engage these newer leaders to inspire the old guard, which is what I consider ourselves? Anyone who's been with the company more than 10 years is part of the old guard. How do we get that engagement? Is this style of doing meetings more suited to the old guard than the new guard? That's what I'm wondering about. How do we get them engaged in this? Because they have a lot to give us too.
I think maybe, and this is a great question, just off the top of my head's going like this. I think if we looked back and looked and saw anybody who reached this leadership level in Manatech, let's have a special call for that group. And so they get personal invites. Hey, at one time you're doing this. We'd love you to, join us. Just this group of people. You're exclusive, and make them feel exclusive, and have a call for them. And maybe, I don't know, Al, that's just an idea that came to my head based on what Joellen said, because I think one thing that's happened is people aren't feeling like they're special anymore out there, and they are special. And that means that maybe it's not enough to have their upline leader who's been hounding them for 10 years, right? It's who else cares about me? And so maybe we get a group of us, that are, doing in that leadership and training, and get Al there, that they get special attention. How's that for an idea?
Okay, let's go to Doug, and then we come back. I want to come back to what Glenn said, because I might have some thoughts, and some of you may have some thoughts as well.
So it seems like we're coming full circle, because in the beginning of my business, I spent 10, 12 hours a day talking to a lot of people, but I like the 9 tools because we need to listen. And the way we're going to invite newer people, we have to take the time to listen to those newer people, find out what their motivations are, and help them and tell our stories of what motivated us. And it's that blending of listening, sharing stories. And that's not an instantaneous. We always kind of end these calls like, okay, now let's get everybody going fast. And it's like, no, we got to go back to the circle, and we got to say, okay, who am I going to call that I can be time efficient? And what popped in my mind is I'm going to revisit my leaders who I know are probably burnt out and worn out and everything else, but I'm going to find out who they know. I'm going to try to get down a generation or two, but bring up a topic and listen to them and see if I can find that 1, 2, 3, 4 people that are connected to others. Because that's what, all of us are in the same boat. We brought in all of our best people, and they've lived their course. And I'll never forget being at a manifest and walking up to somebody, and I was new and young, and it's like, oh man, I wish my business would grow faster. And I walked up to person who I looked up to as the leader, and I go, yeah, we only brought 200 people in this month. And I remember the look on his face. He'd go, 200? How, where? But I had that group of people that were sharing. It wasn't me. It was the group of people sharing that were excited about what the products were doing. And I love the tools coming that is going to get back. We need our Manatech Science. And it sounds like it's going to be a great tool, because people...
Yeah, the Science Hub, absolutely.
Yeah, and when people, that's what most all of us, we can talk about leadership and everything else, but it comes back to the working of the products. And when we can be more efficient of having a tool saying, yeah, this is great, why don't you go here and learn about them? So I don't have to talk to them for 2 hours, tell them about it. And that tool has a potential of really getting us back to how great the products are. And then we have those conversations where it's just like, how do you like that tool? Tell me more about that, and get them talking. I love your part, Mary Jo. I took great notes, and it's re-stimulating it. I did put a link, and the guy I referenced is a guy I just ran into who is all about body language. And he really teaches, look, you've got to, as you're talking with people, listen to their body language. But he's all about this Zoom screen. How do you do body language? How do you watch what they're doing? How do you know when they're not wanting to say something? Oh, do you have something more to share with me? How do we ask questions keep them engaged and read their body language, which may be more telling than what their words are. So that's just, I just ran into that. I haven't finished everything, but I'm really liking what I'm learning about that. So those are some thoughts.
Doug, I gotta say, I love your background screen. I think that's awesome.
There's this big macrophage behind you. Be careful.
Al, we have 5 minutes left, and I know you wanted to share what's coming, the challenge. Did you want to?
Okay.
I'm respecting everybody's time. We're done at 11:30. So why don't we want to conclude with that?
Sure, sure. By the way, just how many of you have enjoyed this format for the meeting? Is this work for you guys? Awesome.
And we have
Right.
like 17 questions unanswered, Al, so we could like do this every month.
Oh, we
now.
could do this for the next 17 weeks. Okay, so this is what we want to do. We kind of called it 5 for 5, and this is the challenge. The challenge is, can we do 5 presentation a week for the next 5 weeks? And now, when I say a presentation, is literally you've taken somebody through, or a video like Kevin talked about, of the opportunity, or you've done the opportunity yourself, or you've shared something with them, and then you came back and had the discussion and had the follow-up, answered objection. There was a meaningful interaction. You just didn't send a text to somebody and maybe they say, yeah, I'd be interested, but then nothing ever happened. That's not, we're talking about, you had what Doug is talking about. We had this real meaningful interaction. I got to hear you, you got to hear me. I got to watch your expressions. I got to ask for follow-up questions. I got to answer objections. 5 for 5. And what we're going to do is every Saturday at this time, 10 o'clock, and we're going to try to go 10 to 10:30. If it goes a little longer, fine. And not everybody has to be here at all times, but I'm going to be here. Mary Jo's going to be here. Lydia's going to be here. Luciano, Kevin. We're going to try to jump on here and let's talk about what happened this week. Right? The good. I mean, we want to celebrate those that got their 5. And by the way, we're going to leverage Lydia's, Power 90 Facebook group. Maybe we do this 5 for 5. AI can help us do a nice 5 for 5 challenge. Number 1, tell us if you're joining the challenge. Put yourself out there. I am joining, and let the world know, I am joining 5 for 5 because in 5 weeks, something absolutely revolutionary is about to happen. So mindset we're going to have is almost like the same mindset, Luciano, when we were going to open a new country, right? We always had the most level of excitement and activity when people knew, okay, in 5 weeks we're opening a new country. People would go crazy talking to people from that country, and who do you know that lives in Spain, or who do you know that lives in Portugal? And we go, and as we went through that, guess what? We found out, just like Doug, you're talking about, that these people know somebody who knows somebody. Every dud knows a stud. I mean, remember that. Every dud knows a stud. Okay, at least we think. And then they realize they're studs themselves. But let's just act like we're about to discover America in 5 weeks. Something absolutely revolutionary is happening in 5 weeks. Let's build the buzz and let that be the reason why it's like, I got to talk to you because in 5 weeks, something is happening. I want you to be a part of it, whichever way you want to verbalize that. But let's get in this mode that in 5 weeks, something special is about to happen. What's going to happen? Well, I tell you what, it's going to be happening at the Texas Motor Speedway for 3 days, and people from all over the world are coming. They're flying in from Korea. You don't have to say this is our annual global meeting and people always do this. No, this is like the first time this has ever happened. It is the first time they're all coming to the Motor Speedway. So it is true. It's the first time. All right. Literally, we got people flying from all over the world for this amazing event that's going to really spawn a revolution in the industry I'm part of, in the wellness industry. I want you to be a part of that. And between now and then, I want you not only to be a part of that, but let's work together to build a team of people that's going to be part of this movement that we're about to start in 5 weeks. Does that make sense? Is that too much? You know, am I getting too excited?
No, not you, Al.
So 5 for 5. And between now and Manifest, every Saturday, 10 o'clock, we're meeting here. The team is huddling. Okay, we're gonna huddle and we're gonna talk about what what happened, what went well, what didn't go well, how would you change it. Also know that we are all available for three-way calls. I mean, I'll put my number here on the chat if you don't have it. Please, I know, when Ray, I mean, when Kevin said something about Ray, I can assure you, nothing will please him more than getting a phone call from you. Hey, I got this special guy I want you to talk to. He would be tickled pink. Okay, you got the #1 top distributor, made $65 million so far in this industry in 30 years, and you're gonna get him on a phone with somebody. That person should feel like, man, he's gonna about to meet the most important, the most interesting person in the world. Okay, so if we can do that, put our fears aside, put our things aside, just get caught up in this thing that, hey, in 5 weeks something amazing is going to happen, because it is going to happen because you said so. Okay, it's going to be amazing to you, and it's going to be amazing to them. So don't worry about, well, what's the details of it? Look, I can't tell you all the details. All I can tell you is I'm excited about it. I'm getting ready for it, and I don't want you to miss it. Period. Are you in? Next Tuesday, join us. Next Saturday. On those Saturday meetings every week, bring them. If you got a new person, bring them. Introduce them to the team. We all welcome them. We'll all applaud them. We'll and they'll know they're part of this community. Does that make sense? Okay, it's 11:31. And by the way, every week there'll be a prize. I talked to Landon. We'll put something together. The person who had the most activity that week will win a prize. And then at the end of the 5 weeks, we'll take all the people who won a prize and we're going to put them into a big pool, and they're going to get a big prize. Okay? I'm just telling you, it's going to be a big prize. Okay? All right. That's it, Mary Jo. I don't want to extend
Great.
it.
Yeah.
Wait, we have 2 more things yet. If you have something you like to share, like a link, a video, something, do me a favor. I'm going to put my email in the chat. Send it to me and I'll add it to the list. And Al, is there something happen tomorrow at 2 p.m.?
All right. So tomorrow at 2 p.m., Global Connection, my special guest, Luciano Fidalgo. We're going to be we're not going to just do a normal one. We're just going to really, him and I have 35 years of being together all around the world. We'll make this kind of a story afternoon. I know, Doug, you said we need to hear more stories so we can tell more stories. So we're going to make sure, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think we need more stories. We need to be hearing each other's story. We got to figure out how to create these stories, and because that's key to what we discussed today. So yeah, so tomorrow, 2 p.m., special Global Connection, Luciano and I, and we're going to be telling a lot of stories.
Yeah, great. And I think why are stories so powerful? Because you get to use them and share them with prospects. Does everybody get this? It helps build your belief, but it's also crucial when you're out there sharing with people. And that's why I threw out my story today, because you come up against big executives or people that are in high positions or whatever. You can tell the story about Mary Jo, so they don't feel like network marketing is just for the low of heart that don't have any job opportunities, blah, 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 which is a bunch of BS. And we know that, but you have story that you can specifically, and then with our commitment to do 3-way calls and help everybody, that's a driving force as well. We're here to support everybody to take Manitech to a new level. So we're all excited about this. We love it. Thank you guys for being here today. I hope you enjoyed the training. Was it jam-packed or jam-packed, right? Yeah. All right. Thanks for being here. Love you guys.
Thank you, Mary Jo. Thank you, Lydia, for pulling all this stuff together. As always, we appreciate you very much. Love you guys. Happy Valentine's. Still time to do something special if you haven't done it yet. I know I will. Okay. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.